is here to change the game.
If unwanted hairs keep popping up all over your face and body like a dog's ears every time the fridge door opens, then in today's video, I've got just the thing for you. IPL hair removal. The sleek solution to stop that regrowth in its tracks. We're going to take a closer look at how it zaps away that fuzz, what to expect during the process, the different stages and phases of the hair growth cycle, as well as demonstrating this, which is the Ulike IPL Air 10 hair removal device. Okay, so for you guys who have been following me for a while, you'll know that I don't often have much facial hair. Now, it's not that I don't grow facial hair, because I really do. It's that I've never really felt that it was something that I wanted to have myself. In fact, I have to shave every single day. And if I'm honest, I'm a little bit tired of doing that. Now, I totally get that for most guys, facial hair is something that they want to kind of have. But it's not something that I've personally ever really wanted myself. I've always found it to be really itchy. I just can't be bothered with it. So for the purpose of this video, today I've not pulled out the razor, I've not shaved, I have got some stubble going on. Now, when it comes to facial hair, my facial hair is more of a dark blonde, light brown colour with a hint of ginger in it, and it doesn't only grow along my jawline and on my mid-cheek area, but it also grows on my upper cheeks, which I really hate feeling the hair up here. I'm also not a massive fan of neck hair on me. Now, like I said, for a lot of guys out there, facial hair is the aesthetic goal, and most of you guys actually pull it off really well. For me personally, I don't really feel like I do, and I don't want to. But also, facial hair isn't only a guy's problem. It's something that pretty much all of us have to some extent. And I guess whether you want to be a hairy Mary or a smooth skin Sally, it's a personal choice. And for me, I kind of err more towards the smooth skin Sally side. Now, as someone who does have to shave every day, unfortunately that means that my skin is often left really raw and irritated. Shaving rash, acne breakouts, things like that are things that I experience on an almost weekly basis, and I really wish that I didn't have to, and actually now I no longer have to. Now, for the sake of this video, I am going to be focusing mainly on facial hair, which is why I'm talking about facial hair, but obviously the face isn't the be all and the end all of the body. And hair in unwanted places can really knock your confidence. Whether it's hairy underarms, that treasure trail running from your navel down to your Auntie Mary or your Uncle John Thomas, whether it's the bikini line for guys, overly hairy plums, or if your peach has just got a bit too much fuzz on it. Hair doesn't have to be there, which is where IPL hair removal devices come into play. Now, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, shaving is something that I have to do on a daily basis. In fact, there have been days where I've had to do it twice a day, but there are other ways of getting rid of hair, such as waxing, sugaring, pumicing, tweezing, electrolysis, each of which comes with their own positives and negatives. I definitely don't want to be waxing my face. Now, if you've got fine hair in your moustache area or around your chin, then waxing can be an effective and quick way to deal with it. But for someone like me who has got a lot of thick and coarse hair around these areas, waxing is just off the table. Electrolysis, whilst it works, it is time consuming, it's painful, and it's just something that I haven't got the patience for, but that doesn't mean that there aren't effective solutions that can deal with it. And if you've been looking into different ways of controlling your facial or body hair or minimizing its regrowth, then chances are that you've already seen this device here. This is the Ulike Air 10 IPL hair removal device. It has an energy output of 26 joules, which in itself is pretty impressive. It's got an inbuilt skin sensor right here, so it can determine what your skin tone is, which then allows the device to reduce or increase the intensity automatically to prevent any damage to the skin. It's also got 2 IPL bulbs in here, which is one more than pretty much every other device out there on the market. It comes with 4 different treatment modes, including the salon equivalent mode, which is known as SHR, and it also features crystal cooling technology that keeps the skin at 16 degrees Celsius. And even with all of that, it gets even better because this device isn't only able to be used on standard areas of the body, but it can also be used on those super sensitive areas of the skin as well. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at the treatment modes that you got in the Ulike Air 10. So first up, we've got fast mode. Now, fast mode is 2 rapid flashes of lower light energy, and this is the mode you're going to be using most when you're in maintenance mode, once your hair removal is kind of at a level that you're happy with. The second mode is normal mode. This is the mode that's going to be used a majority of the times in pretty standard and normal hair removal sessions. Now, it uses medium energy, and the energy is adjusted automatically by the sensor within the device. The lighter the skin, the higher the energy. The darker the skin, the lower the energy. This is to prevent any kind of skin burns or issues within the skin. Then Then we've got high mode. Now high mode is used for targeting really stubborn hair. Again, it's got automatic energy adjustment based on your skin tone, and it consists of 2 rapid flashes of high energy light output. And then obviously we've got the last mode, which is the SHR mode. Now SHR mode is designed for tackling just about every type of hair that you can imagine, whether it's coarse, whether it's fine, whether it's darker, whether it's lighter. It's basically the salon equivalency in an at-home handheld device. It consists of 4 rapid bursts of light, each of them feeling a little bit stronger than the one before, ensuring that no hair is left behind. Now in SHR there is no auto glide mode available, which basically means that all you do is you manually push the lighting button, does its 4 flashes, move it away and then replace it, and just repeat the process in all the areas that you want to treat. To activate the auto glide mode, all you're going to do is you're going to push and hold on the lighting button. You're going to hold it for around about 2 to 3 seconds, let it go, and it's in auto mode. And this is super useful for treating large areas such as on the chest, on the arms, the legs, and the face and neck if you're doing them as well. So to prevent any damage to the eyes, inside the package you're going to find these super snazzy shades, which you're going to be using whenever you're doing a treatment, whether it's on your face, whether it's on your body, even if it's all the way down onto your feet, just to prevent the flashes from damaging your retina. There's also the inbuilt safety feature of this device, which basically means that the light's not going to fire unless the device is level against the skin, and only then are the flashes going to happen. So which of these modes is going to be the best one to start with? If it's your first time using an IPL device, especially the Use Ulike Air 10, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start on fast mode, and you're going to want to test it on a reasonably sensitive but inconspicuous area of skin. Now for me, I usually find that the inner part of the elbow, along the wrist, or even on the stomach is the perfect place to do a test. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire 2 to 3 shots consecutively. I'm going to remove the device and I'm going to take a look at how my skin's reacted to it, and then from there I'm going to be able to determine whether I need to increase intensity or reduce it. Okay, so before we take a closer look at how often to use the IPL hair removal device, it's a good idea to understand the hair growth cycle. So there are 3 main stages of the hair growth cycle, which are anagen, catagen and telogen. Now anagen is when the hair is actively growing, and this is when IPL treatments are going to be most effective at removing and minimizing hair regrowth. Then we got catagen, which is when the hair is kind of in its transition phase between active growth and dormancy. And then we've got telogen, which is the dormant phase, which is when the hair's not actively growing. IPL is not really going to be much use at this point because the hair follicle is absolutely tiny, it's minimized, and the light's not really going to be able to penetrate as well as it would in the anagen phase. Now when looking at each of these different hair growth cycles, it's really important to remember that the hair follicles don't all run at the same time. Basically what that means is that when your hair is in the anagen phase, it's not 100% of your hairs are in that phase. You might have 40% in anagen, you might have 50% in catagen and 10% in telogen. If you're a more mature guy, like in your late 50s, 60s or 70s, it could be the complete opposite of that, where you have more hairs resting than you do actively growing. The different cycles of hair growth can be affected by hormones, they can be affected by diet, they can be affected by lifestyle. Basically what you want to be doing is targeting the hairs when they are in the anagen phase, because this is when they are most receptive to the IPL. It's when the IPL is going to be able to do the most work in the follicle. With each treatment you're going to notice a real reduction in not only the hair growth rate but also the hair density. Now with the Use Ulike Air 10 IPL home hair removal device, it's recommended that you use it a minimum of 3 times a week for the first 4 weeks. But if you've got particularly thick or coarse hair that you're looking to get rid of, then every 2 days is going to give you even better results. Now there really is no need to use this every single day. In fact, to do so is going to be pretty wasteful of the energy, of the light and the device itself. But every 2 to 3 days for the first 4 weeks is ideal. Now Use Ulike does claim that you're going to notice a reduction in hair growth and hair density within 10 days of using this device. But after around about 4 or 5 weeks, or once you've reached the kind of desired levels that you're looking for with your hair removal, you can reduce the treatment schedule down to every 2 weeks or every month, depending on what the situation's like, as and when that time arrives. Now IPL uses a broad spectrum of polychromatic light, and it's this polychromatic light that gets to work in the hair follicles. But if you're looking for an at-home IPL hair removal device and you're wondering, will IPL hair removal work for me? The answer to that is in your skin tone and your hair colour. For IPL to work, you need contrast in the skin and the pigment in the hair follicle. So by that, what I mean is that if you've got very pale skin and you've got super blonde hair, or you've got grey hair, or you've got white hair, the device isn't going to be able to generate enough heat within the follicle. Now with that said, that doesn't mean that it's going to be impossible, but it's going to take a heck of a lot more treatments. and the chance of it working is going to be pretty low. Likewise, if you've got very dark skin and you've got very dark hair, there's no contrast between the two, so the device isn't going to be able to differentiate between them. What's going to pretty much happen then is that the skin will absorb a lot of the IPL, which could increase the risks of burns and discomfort. The ideal candidate is someone who's got very white skin all the way up to brown skin, and the hair is starting from around about a light brown up to a black. Now, like I mentioned, if you've got white, grey, red or light blonde hair, these colours typically lack the melanin needed for the IPL to work its best. So IPL may not be the best choice. It definitely won't be the fastest choice. But with that said, I'm the perfect person to test this because my hair is a combination of light brown, dark blonde, red, and there's even a few greys in the mix. So with me testing this, I'm going to be able to see how well those lighter hairs respond against the darker hairs, which is hopefully going to give you a little bit more information so that you can make a more informed decision about which direction to head. Now obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, that IPL or intense pulse light generates immense heat within the hair follicles, and this can kind of dissipate into the surrounding skin as well, which means having inbuilt cooling technology is really important. Now some of the at-home devices reach temperatures of 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to know if you've got a device that reaches those kind of temperatures because it's going to feel like a red hot rubber band snapping at your skin. So if I'm going to be using an IPL device that can generate heats of up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, then I'm definitely going to want something that has got inbuilt cooling technology. Now inside the Ulike Air 10 Home IPL hair removal device, it has got inbuilt sapphire ice touch technology, which cools the skin down to a super comfortable 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around about 16 degrees Celsius. This ensures that the epidermis is kept perfectly cool. You're not going to experience any discomfort, you're not going to experience any pain associated with IPL. Basically, it's going to be able to zap away those hairs while keeping things super comfortable. Okay, so before I get on with my very first hair removal treatment with my at-home hair removal device, let's take a quick look at those who should not use this kind of treatment and the contraindications. So those whose skin is darker than the recommended tones should avoid using IPL just so that there aren't any issues with potential burns or serious discomfort. If you have issues such as eczema, atopic dermatitis, allergic dermatitis, things like that, it's really not a good idea to use this without first checking with a medical professional. If you've got photosensitivity or photosensitive epilepsy, again, this device isn't going to be the best choice for you. If you've recently been on sunbeds or you're wearing a dark self-tan, again, you're going to want to avoid this treatment until your skin has faded back to its original colour. You also don't want to be using IPL over dark moles or spots, tattoos, blisters, and moles. When using it on the face, you want to be avoiding the eyebrow area, you want to be avoiding the scalp, and you also don't want to be getting too close to the eyes, especially if you're not wearing your goggles. And obviously if you've got any active acne, open wounds, blisters, sores, or anything like that on the skin, you're going to want to avoid using the IPL on, over, or near those kind of skin conditions. And then lastly, it mentions in the user manual that you don't really want to be using IPL if you're pregnant and breastfeeding or if you're on your period. And as I mentioned, you're going to want to be using those eye goggles or some form of eye protection from start to finish of every treatment, which is something that I've been guilty of doing when I've actually used laser devices on my face before. But I was young, I was learning, I was in training, and I know better now. Okay, so now we've got all of that out of the way, I guess it's time to do my first treatment. Okay, so as this is my first time of using this device, I'm just going to do my quick sensitivity test. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to power on the device, put on the goggles, and I need to find somewhere inconspicuous on me that's a little bit sensitive so that I can get a good idea of how I'm going to react to this. Now, most of my skin is covered in tattoos, but my inner joint of my elbow is the perfect place. Yeah, seems good. Now I'm just going to quickly test it in normal. Yep, no redness or discomfort. I'm going to test it is in high. Yep, all good. I'm just going to do one last check with the SHR mode. Obviously, need to move this down just a little bit. Again, no problems with that, so I know that I'm not going to have any problems with my skin tone or my hair colour. Now for the face, it says to use the normal mode or the high mode. So I'm going to switch and alternate between these two depending on how coarse or dense the hair is. Now primarily the areas of the face I'm going to be targeting is on the upper cheek area here, which I believe the goggles are going to come to around here. Yep, so it's basically in line with the rim of the goggles. Then when I'm doing this, I'm also going to make sure that my eyes are closed and that I'm looking upwards with my eyes, so I'm looking away from the area being treated just to make sure that 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 light doesn't kind of interfere with my eyes in any way. So it's going to be treating the upper cheek area. I'm going to be bringing it down, and I'm going to bring it onto the beard area slightly. I'm also going to do under the chin and down the neck because, again, not areas that I really want hair. And then I'm thinking that I might actually treat over the actual beard area 1 or 2 times just to kind of slow down that growth and minimize the density, so I'm not having to shave every single day, because ain't nobody got time for that. Now, any areas that you're going to be treating, you don't want to wax first. It completely defeats the purpose of doing an IPL treatment. If there's no follicle in there to target, then there's going to be no heat generated in it. So you do need to make sure that there's some follicle there. Now, so basically all that means is shaving down to the skin or using a trimmer and bringing it down nice and short. But for the purpose of this video, let's do a quick close-up look at the hair on my face so you can see it. Like I said, it is a mix of light brown, dark blonde, red, and a few greys in there. And obviously for me, it does extend up onto the upper cheeks and down on the neck areas I don't want it. And like I mentioned earlier, according to the manufacturer, this is safe to be used on those more sensitive areas. So who knows, I might take care of my crown jewels a bit later. Probably won't. But if I do, that's definitely something that I won't be uploading onto YouTube. But yeah, let's get on with this. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to power up the device. And because the hair on my face is coarse and it's probably going to be a bit more stubborn, I am going to switch this into high mode. Do that by pushing on the power button briefly. Just push it twice and it takes it into high mode. Goggles on, nice and firm against the skin. What I'm going to do is I am going to start on the upper cheek area.
Glide along with TJ. Glide along with TJ to a hair-free face. Freedom from the shame. Freedom from the redness, rash and pain. All it takes is just a few minutes. Lamp goes pop, 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 pop. Glide along with TJ. You'll love you like Air 10. It's here to change the game. You've been wanting smooth skin, baby. I know what you're looking for. Hot wax razors all in line, baby. Smooth, no more. Feel that silk now touch and go. You're ready to shine, so go. Repeat every other day. For tired of grooming you, hair-free face. Glide along with TJ. Freedom from the redness, rash and pain. All it takes is just a few minutes. Lamp goes pop, 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 pop. Glide along with TJ. You're lucky like Air 10. You're lucky with every inch of the day. 5. It's here to change the game.
Okay, so in total that took me about 20 minutes. Super painless. In actual fact, there was no pain whatsoever. The cooling technology in this really does keep the skin really cold, which is something that I think I'm going to appreciate over time. Now, obviously, you've seen me do a combination of the high intensity treatment and of the SHR treatment. I've used the SHR mainly around the under chin and on the neck area where the hair is really thick and coarse. Used high mode on the upper cheeks. Now, one of the added benefits of IPL is that it helps take care of redness and telangiectasias, or those little spider veins that appear on the face. Again, if you've been following me for a while, then you're going to know that those telangiectasias, or the spider veins on my face, and the redness from my rosacea are huge issues for me. IPL is actually often used in clinics to help reduce redness associated with rosacea and with facial flushing, but it's also used for dealing with those telangiectasias in the skin. Obviously, where there's some contrast between the little thread veins in the skin, especially if you've got a paler complexion like me, the light is absorbed by the hemoglobin in those little tiny veins, and then basically what that it does is it causes the blood to coagulate, and then over the following weeks and months those little veins kind of just dissolve and are reabsorbed by the body. So even if it doesn't deal with those lighter hairs on my skin, if it can deal with my facial redness and the telangiectasias, I'm literally going to stock up on so many of these and stash them away in a cupboard before this sells out completely. But yeah, for my first treatment, really enjoyed it. No issues, no hiccups, nothing went wrong with it. My face doesn't feel hot, it doesn't feel like it's burning, there was no discomfort, and I'm really looking forward to doing my next treatment in a couple of days time. So I guess for this section of the video, I'm pretty much done now. So I guess it is time to jump to future me now.
TJ's here, gliding again. Every other day for a session of 10. Gliding.
Okay, so I've been using the Use Ulike Air 10 for 28 days now, and all I can say is that my mind has been blown. Now, I've not needed to shave for the last 4 days, which is something that I've not had to do since I was like 13. And I'm not gonna lie, I was super skeptical about this, like really skeptical, because I mean, just how effective can a home use IPL device be? I mean, it turns out it can be beyond next level. So as I said, I've not had to shave for 4 days now, and I do have some hair growth coming in. Obviously, the hair runs in cycles. I got some hairs that were maybe a little bit too light or maybe a little bit too grey. So the IPL has not targeted them as quickly as it does with the darker hairs, but it's still definitely reduced the density of them. And I notice a definite slowing growth rate. But looking at the growth that's come in now, I mean, this is literally like an 80% reduction in what I was starting with, where I was shaving like up to 2 times a day, which has given my skin such a break because I'm no longer getting the ingrown hairs, I'm no longer getting the shaving rash, the stubble burn. And you know, if this was the maximum result that I'm going to see, which it's not going to be because I'm going to continue using this over the next couple of months, but if this was the final result that I was getting, I would be beyond happy. Now, like I've said earlier on in this video, I totally get that some people like a hairy face on a guy. Some people think it's a bit weird that a guy doesn't want it. I'm one of those people that doesn't want facial hair. I've never wanted facial hair. I'm never going to want facial hair. I see it as a bit of a burden having to take care of it all the time. So I deal with it when I don't have to. But whether you're looking to take care of under your arms, on your legs, around your meat and 2 veg, your chest, your back, your crack, wherever, this is by far one of the best ways to deal with hair in those places. It's quick, it's easy, it's painless. There's no ripping hair out like with waxing or sugaring. There's no burning your skin and putting up with disgusting smells like you have with hair removal creams. All it takes is just a few shots every other day, and you're going to notice a huge reduction in the amount of hair you have and the growth rate of it. I mean, this right here has literally become one of my favourite devices, along with the Medicube Booster Pro, which is really starting to shake up my ride or die list of skincare devices and tools that I've been using. Yes, it takes time to see some results coming in, and you know, if you've got a lot of grey hair, if your hair is coming through very blonde, this might not be the best option for you. Now, like I say, it's definitely helped to reduce the growth rate of those hairs, even the lighter ones on me. But besides helping get rid of hair, it's also reduced the amount of redness in my skin. It's absolutely obliterated the spider veins that I had running through my cheeks. Like seriously, within a few uses they were gone. And I've also noticed that I've not really had any acne breakouts whatsoever since I started using this. I mean, what can I say? I think I'm a little bit in love. Now, if hair removal, skin redness, spider veins, anything like that are concerns of yours, then I literally cannot recommend this device enough. And I'm not just saying that to make a sale. I know some people always think, oh, it's a giant long ad saying this for sales. You know, when I'm promoting a product, it's because I truly believe in it, and I've tried it myself, I've tested it myself, and it's worked for me. This has really worked for me, and I would be super excited to hear you guys, if you're using it, what your thoughts are with it, because for me this has become an integral part of my weekly routine, and I am going to keep going with it until I have to deal with no more shaving. And the best part is that I've already seen it's working, so I know that I'm going to reach that point at some time in the future. But if you want to get your hands on your very own one of these, I'm going to link you up with a discount code, so you're going to be able to save a pretty decent amount of money off of buying one of these, as well as all of the information that you need to know in the description box and in the pinned comment. But guys, I've been turned from a skeptic into a believer. I mean, you like? Nuh-uh. I love. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for this video. So if you've got any questions about this device or about the way that it works, all the different things that I do to my skin, feel free to drop them in the comment section, which is now open and ready for you. If you found this video useful or you've just enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like because it helps me understand the kind of direction to go with my content and what you guys are kind of responding to. And of course, the most cringiest part of the video, if you haven't done so already, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and turn all notifications on, which is the ultimate way to help me support growing my channel, doing these honest reviews, and bringing to you some of the latest and best skincare devices to use in the comfort of your own home. I hope your day is as amazing as you are, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. So till then, TJ over and out.
Glide along with TJ. Glide along with TJ to a hair-free face, freedom from the shade.